Knows Best.
Hi, friends, and welcome back to Brenna Knows Best. I'm your host, Brenna Berg. Hi, how are you guys? Happy Monday. Let's just get into the stories. I have a few really good ones. The last one, I've been dying to find a story, which maybe we already have, but there were a ton of updates on it, and somebody in this person's real life found the story, and then it kind of trickled in naturally. Like, this person was posting the issue, and then the person they were posting about saw it, and that became another part of the issue, which I love. That one's last because it's kind of long, but let's just get into the first story. Am I the asshole for feeling angry that my relative insisted on a home birth and now her baby has a birth injury? I know this is a sensitive topic, but I really need to get this off my chest. Trigger warning. It's not that bad. It's just about a person giving a home birth and there being a complication. Okay, if you can't handle that, move along. If you can, it doesn't go into the nitty gritty, but I feel like, yeah, it is a sensitive topic. My husband's cousin just had a baby after planning her entire pregnancy for a home birth. I tried to talk to her about the risks because I was genuinely worried. She's a first-time mom, and I told her that things can go wrong in an instant and hospitals don't exist for nothing. I had my first baby 21 months ago, and I had complications that would have killed me and my child if I gave birth at home. So I am a huge advocate for hospital births, especially for first-time moms. I don't have a lot of opinions on this. I will go ahead and say I think the best place probably to give birth is a hospital. Therefore, if there are complications, they can be handled. I'm not saying I bash anybody for wanting to give a home birth. And of course, there are midwives and you can hire people to come in. But I do agree with what she is saying. Now, as far as unmedicated births, I don't give a shit what you do. Right? I understand the sentiment of women being like, we were born to do this. Our bodies can do this. I agree. But do you know how many women back in the day, I'm talking a long time ago, died giving birth when, not back in that day, but if they had modern medicine, she would have been okay, right? Just because they can or we can do it doesn't mean that you shouldn't, but it's I am a big modern medicine fan. I love that if I'm sick or something happens, I can go to a doctor or a hospital or both and get help, right? If there's not a reason to be sick, which obviously with the birth, who knows what can go wrong? There are a million things that can go wrong. Some things are minor, some things are major, but I'm in the camp of probably just have your baby at the hospital. But I would never shame somebody for having a home birth. And this is really tricky. And this is a common theme. Well, I feel like this is a common theme in human conflict in general. And a lot of our stories, when people push their opinions on you or want you to do something because they have a personal experience, which I get that. And I understand where she's coming from. But for example, if I gave birth and had issues and could have almost died, but thank God I was in the hospital, of course it's a part of my story and something that people will know about. But if somebody came to me and said, I want to do a home birth, I'd be like, pop off, queen. I wouldn't, but I would never try and change somebody else's ideas or opinions or what they want to do, especially for something so personal and intimate, right? We're human beings. We all do things for a certain reason. Okay, let's keep going. Even the best midwife can only do so much if something unexpectedly goes wrong. She disregarded any advice and told me that she wanted to have a natural and peaceful experience and did not want doctors getting involved unless absolutely necessary. Again, let's let her live, right? That's fine. That's fine. She's choosing that. Hopefully she knows the risks. That's the thing. I can understand somebody giving advice because she really genuinely, this woman would have died if she didn't have a doctor, but it's also you got to let people live at the end of the day, right? Let them know, and let's hope that she's done her research and knows that, the potential risks are the potential risks, but then it's pretty hands off, in my opinion. She ended up being 2 weeks overdue. Despite this, her midwife still greenlit trying for a home delivery. She was in labor for an extremely long time and she just wasn't progressing. From what I was told, she was eventually rushed to the hospital for an emergency C-section. But by this point, her baby had been deprived of enough oxygen for too long, and unfortunately, the baby developed HIE, which is a form of brain damage caused by lack of oxygen. The doctors are unsure what the long-term result will be, but it is severe. I mean, again, I hope she knew the risks. That's so sad. That's so sad, which I'm not gonna, but this is why people feel strongly about things. It's like if you would have just been in a hospital and it could have gotten taken care of, but like this is not a moment for an I told you so, right? This is a real woman and a real baby who now has, is that called a birth defect? I don't know if that's insensitive or the wrong thing, but like, wouldn't that be a birth defect? HIE, a form of brain damage caused by the lack of oxygen. Ooh, by a lack of oxygen, sorry. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure, and I'm like so unfamiliar with pregnancy and birth, how she said she was 2 weeks overdue, but the midwife still gave her a green light. It said green lit, trying for a home delivery, LIT, literally. She said, let's get lit. I mean, it is what it is. It happened. Let's keep going. I feel so bad for her and for their whole family, but at the same time, I am angry. I am angry that she did not listen to the warnings, angry that this might potentially have been prevented, and angry that her baby has to suffer because of a decision that could have been different. And I feel guilty for feeling that way because she is already living every parent's worst nightmare. I haven't said anything to anyone about it, but the feelings are eating away at me. I think you need therapy. I think there is nothing, like there is no good that could ever come from expressing this to her. Right? She had the home birth. Her baby, now has HIE because of it. Like there's not one thing you can say to her that would make you feel better. I think a therapist will help with these feelings of you trying to understand. And I don't know how close you are. This is your husband's cousin. I mean, she's obviously very empathetic, and I think it's a normal reaction that she's having. It's an innocent baby who now has a birth defect because of something that could have been avoided. But I'm going to follow up with a story. Let me finish what this says. Am I the asshole for feeling angry and frustrated that a person's home birth decision had such a horrific outcome, even though I know she's already in agony? You are not the asshole, but it's like what you choose to do after this that can make you the asshole. I think you just need therapy, but I'm not sure if I've ever told this story. However, Nanny Boy, the boy that I nannied, who is now 15 years old and healthy and wonderful, she gave birth, Nanny Mom, in what is the hospital in New York City? She's told this story to so many people in front of me and to me that I should know this by the back of my hand, like the back of my hand. But she went into labor and she was completely healthy. There was not a single thing out of the normal about her pregnancy, about going into labor. And she's pushing him out. This is Nanny Boy, right? This is 15 years ago. And all of the sudden, Nanny Boy is not breathing. And I believe he was essentially dead. Okay, holy, maybe this should require a trigger warning, but he was not breathing for something like 7 minutes, 9 minutes. Like she's pushing out the baby and then all of the sudden, and she says, nanny mom, like, of course you're like giving birth and all of a sudden something's going on and doctors are freaking out and nurses and like they're trying to figure out what happened. Like everything had been perfectly healthy up until this point, and now all of a sudden, and she didn't learn this until way after the fact. She had no idea, because obviously you're laying there, you're looking up at the ceiling, you're trying to look at your baby, but like you can't really see, and they just like rushed him out and like they're trying to save this baby and they don't even know what happened, right? This is like literally, nanny mom gets obviously emotional every time she tells the story. But I believe also at this time, so obviously he was taken into the NICU, is that like the emergency, like anywho, he wasn't breathing for something like minimum 7 minutes. I want to say it might even be longer than that. And finally, they got his heartbeat. Again, she learns all of this after the fact. They get his heartbeat going. They learn, and like, I'm just going to make a long story really short because I don't want to like mess up the story. I don't quite remember it now. But one of the nurses, so he was coming out of nanny mom's you know what, and I think his head, like he was rotated a little bit or something, and the nurse, one of them, unfortunately, which like they don't hold any ill will against this person, and honestly they probably could have sued. They didn't. They could have definitely sued for a lot of fucking money. However, this nurse ever so slightly tried to move baby nanny boy's head on the way out, and they say that a baby's head at that point, like when it's fresh out the coming out of the literal you know what, is like a ping pong ball. Like that's how delicate the skull is. I'm sorry, the skull is like a ping pong ball. Well, this nurse tried to move his head a little bit to jostle him in a way to get him out. I don't know if his shoulder was stuck or he was sideways or something, but she pushed with a finger on his skull and like literally broke his skull, because it was like, hello, a ping pong ball, if you know, they're like not super fragile, but kind of fragile. Like you can push on one and it just like dents, right? Well, that happened to his skull, which then caused an internal brain bleed. And that's why he was not breathing. And like, I don't know how. And nanny mom only speaks highly, highly, highly of these doctors and these nurses, because obviously they saved him. Like they figured out what was happening. They were able to obviously get him to breathe again. He was rushed then to go, I think, into immediate surgery, right? Like literal immediate brain surgery. He just came out of her womb. And he also, because this was what, 2010. Yeah, he was born 2010. The cold cap, which I believe is now a very common thing that is used in the healthcare system, but like it was relatively new, or some form of this was like very, very new. Like they only had 2 of them at the hospital, and they came to nanny mom and nanny dad and they were like, there's not a lot of research on this. Like, we don't know. Like, they're literally just trying to like save him. And like, this all just happened. Like, she literally just gave birth, like had a perfectly healthy baby, and then all of the sudden did not. And like, they didn't even know what happened. Right. And they came to them and gave them the pros and cons. And they talk about this doctor, like she must have been the most amazing person ever. Is this the birth? One of her births also is when New York City got that huge hurricane and they had to move. I think that was nanny girl, like literally had to like rush them over to a different hospital. Maybe it was nanny boy. I'm sorry. Now I'm like really just yapping to yap, but basically they said yes to like this cold cap thing, whatever. And not that that was the thing that saved him, but all in all, I think they were in the hospital for a really long time, or nanny boy was. Like, I don't think nanny mom saw him for like a really long time. If this was the one with the hurricane, I think they literally had to rush him in an ambulance to a different hospital, because this one they were at was going to get hit by the hurricane. And she didn't see him for a while, but basically, like, all things said and done, they have a perfectly healthy boy. Like, nanny boy has like really no long term, of course, like those immediate, when he was like a young infant, they had a lot of hospital visits, there was a lot of things that they had to do, but he's like perfectly fine now. All of that to say, I'm sorry, we really just went on a journey. you can give birth in a hospital and something can go wrong. That was like human error. That was like a nurse's fault. And like nobody holds that against her and he's perfectly fine. But like, who's to say? And this is why I am an ambivalent person in general. Let me look up the textbook definition of ambivalent. I believe that means like, ambiguous, like let me just find ambivalent, having mixed feelings or contradictory ideas about something or someone. I feel like I am very ambivalent in most things. Like I have my opinions, but I also understand that, like, of course, home birth. Would it be better probably in general to be at a hospital? That way, if something happens, there are doctors and nurses? Yes. Like I can believe that, but I can also like, if somebody wants that, they want that. And also in that same breath, like things can go wrong at a hospital. It's like for the reason, when I hear when women get epidurals, you go into this room and it's sterile, like only you can go in. Like think about all of the things that could go wrong in a hospital, the diseases, like the bacteria, which I know nurses are obviously very like sure and safe and take all of the precautions, but there's like human error, like, and not that you should be nervous about that, but like you could say one thing and say that hospital birth is the safest thing ever, and that can be majority true, but there are also things that can go wrong. So like I just don't think that I know everything. Of course I have deep opinions, but like I don't know. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, but for somebody else, I'm going to let them live. Let's get back to this story. Am I the asshole for feeling angry and frustrated? No, you are not the asshole. You are an empathetic person who thinks that that could have been avoided. I don't think that's wrong, but talk to a therapist about how to get through that, because there's nothing good that can come from bringing that up to anybody else. That's all I'm saying. Okay, next. Am I the asshole for buying all of the hot and ready pizzas from my local gas station? So this just happened. I live in a very rural area, so our gas stations are a cross between gas station, convenience store, and a small restaurant. One of the gas stations I frequent has really good personal pan pizzas, and they are decently priced. I know exactly the pizzas he's talking about, and they are fire. I might have picked this story because I can relate. We have a local gas station, and obviously I come from like the small town vibes where like all you have is the gas station. I get this. Those hot and ready pizzas are so good. If you don't know, there are gas stations where it's, like everything. You can buy like maybe not all of your groceries, but a few, especially in a small town. Like this is just kind of how it is. But if you've never been to a gas station like this, there are some where there's like a little, it's not a restaurant, but it's like a walk up like hot bar, and they'll have this like area. They're like these there will be like 3 rows, and maybe some of them have bigger ones, some of them have smaller ones, but they'll make these little hot and ready pizzas and just slide them, and they sit under this like heat lamp situation. And I've been in this predicament. I've been to a gas station and they don't have one when I want one, or you get there and there is one and you get them. Like I've eaten them on road trips, that sort of thing. This is hilarious. My whole family enjoys them when we get them, and everyone was home this afternoon, so I decided to pick some up since I happened to be near this gas station. It was just about 2 p.m. and they had 6 personal pizzas ready. Knowing my family, that is kind of the perfect amount. They also had up different kinds, and we like to mix and match, so I grabbed them. I think that's what you do. I think, of course. And sometimes at these gas stations, there are other items that they will make. It's not coming to me now. Maybe like little sandwiches, like a hot ham and cheese. I think sometimes they probably have hot dogs. Again, it depends on how big it is. But those pizzas are fire. And I've definitely been the person to like grab the last one. Like if there was one and I grab it, like, but that's what they're there for. You consume them. You consume the pizza, but like as a consumer, you buy them. Right? I already see where this is going, obviously. The food service person looked at me and said, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Oh my gosh. I was a little stunned and I just said, "Huh?" They proceeded to tell me I was an asshole for taking all of the pizzas. I explained they were going to my family and not just for myself. They said it's no excuse to take all the pizzas. I was bewildered and asked, isn't it the purpose of making them to sell them? The food service worker looked at the cashier and said, you can make some fucking more. I'm going outside for a smoke. I already, I'm in the gas station right now. I see this going down. I have a lot of thoughts on this, and I think about this often when employees at a store get upset about something, for the store, or this is not a good example because that's what you make the pizzas for. But of course, we all know the person behind the desk is making $7 an hour to make these fucking pizzas. And if they have, I'm guessing 6 out, they don't have to make anymore, because it's one of those things at a gas station, I'm sure there are times where they get busier than others, but you never know when they're going to go, who's going to take the pizzas and how quickly. But that probably meant obviously they had to make more. But what I was going to say is when somebody's getting upset, for the brand or for whoever they work for, and it's dude, you make $7.50. Not that I think of course when it comes to doing the right thing, but when some people take their job a little bit too seriously, I'm they don't care about you. They don't even really know that you exist. You are an employee to them that makes $7.50 an hour, and that can't even cover shit for your life. When I see, and maybe I should, again, here I am being ambivalent. That's great. I want people to work hard and enjoy their job. I can't think of a good example right now, but you know what I'm saying? It's why do you care that all these pizzas got taken? I know why they care, because obviously they have to make more, but it's it can't be that hard to make, number one. And also that's your job, right? You are getting paid to be here. Obviously now that makes me sound like a hypocrite, because these are two ends of the coin. You have the people that literally don't do their job and get mad at you when let's say you go into a store and you're making a return, or you ask a question and you can tell that they're annoyed, and it's you work here. I'm sorry. This is the basics of your job. But when it comes to, I don't know, again, I'm not finding a good example, certain things, it's you don't own Zara. If a Zara employee were to be defending Zara, it's you are an employee. None of the executives at Zara know you exist. I appreciate you going hard for your job, I suppose, but I'm there are, of course, spectrums to everything. It's if you own a company, right? If this is the person working behind the desk at a store that they own, I understand the passion, but it's when you work for Walmart, right? And you're just a cashier or whatever, which I'm not saying is a bad job. We all have jobs. Hello. That's not what I'm saying at all. But it's when they defend their employer and it's a multi-billion-dollar company or corporation, that I just can't jive with. Anywho, let me keep going. The cashier didn't say anything to the food service worker or me. He rang me up, bagged the food, and gave me my receipt. As I was walking to my vehicle, I could hear the food service worker talking to someone on their phone about the fucking asshole who thinks this is a goddamn buffet. I cannot handle stuff like this. The whole thing left a sour taste in my mouth, and while driving home, I kept thinking to myself, am I an asshole for buying those pizzas? So Reddit, am I the asshole? The first comment under this post says, you should have sat in the parking lot and waited for the next 6 pizzas to be ready, then gone in and bought all 6 of those. Not the asshole, but I am. I'm dead. No, you're not the asshole. I can understand. It's a crazy reaction, obviously, but this is another thing. And I do feel bad because oftentimes if you come across somebody who's working at a gas station, let's say this is an older 50-year-old adult, it's they make minimum wage working at a gas station. You can then infer things about their life, the things probably, not that they're not going well, but clearly, and it's when people have a reaction like this, when people are just hostile or mean or do crazy things in general, no matter where you are, what you're doing, if it's road rage, if it's whatever, clearly things in that person's life are not going well. Like clearly they're not doing well. Like I always just think that, like when people get aggressive and like mean or like say shit like that, it's like, okay, obviously this person is like not okay. And that makes me sad. And it really does truthfully make me sad. But it's like, dude, like you're screaming at this person for just like coming into the gas station and buying things that are sold at the gas station. Like I do understand deep down why that was so triggering, because here they are working at the gas station and now they have to make more pizzas, right? I get that. Anywho, okay, let's just keep going. Next. Am I the asshole for the amount of syrup I use in front of my niece? My 25 male sister, 37 female, brother-in-law, 39 male, and niece, 9 female, are staying at my apartment right now since their house was flooded. I try to be a good example for my niece. No alcohol or smoking. I have fruits every day and vegetables nearly as often. What my sister doesn't like is the amount of vanilla flavored syrup I put in my latte. I use half a tablespoon of the stuff per cup and drink 1 cup each morning. My sister, who is a doctor, said I'm setting a bad example for this. She only uses half a teaspoon of syrup and said I should do the same if I care about my niece and want her to have healthy habits when older. No. You don't get to come into your brother's house who graciously let you stay there. Of course, that's what family does. But then say that the amount of syrup he's putting in his coffee is affecting. Here's the thing. Turn your back to the niece. Put the syrup in. Like, is she even seeing this? Right, that's crazy. And regardless, he can do whatever he wants. And I think it's kind enough that he's not drinking or smoking, which smoking is so bad for you anyways, and having fruits and veggies every day. Like, he doesn't even need to be doing any of that. He doesn't need to be doing any of that at all. And like, that's not going to fuck up your daughter, right? If she sees her uncle putting syrup in his coffee. On one hand, I do understand. It's good to be cognizant. It's good to know that children learn from what they see, what they hear, right? The people they look up to. You're probably only staying with them for like not that long, or him. 25 male. She's going to be okay. And has she even noticed? And if she is noticing, put her in the other room while he's making the coffee. Like he says he has 1 cup of coffee. I'm sorry, that's a little crazy. And I literally saw a TikTok this morning and it like deeply resonated with me. And it was just this man standing in front of the camera saying that he was talking about how instead of trying to like change people, and he was talking about his personal experience, he's like, I've spent a lot of time, and I think a lot have spent a lot of time. I don't think I just made sense. People spend a lot of time trying to change others and get people to act a different way and to do different things. But, which this is like an extreme, I'm not saying don't talk to your brother, but it's like, instead of doing that, adjust yourself. It's like, is this person, and we're talking about like the grand scheme, like big things. Like, is this somebody I want to be around? Like, I'm going to change myself to like not be around this person, or like, how can I then change my circumstances to like deal with this person? And that's what she needs to do. Instead of telling your brother, like, are you kidding me? That's like so silly. Just take your daughter out of the room. Like, this is like the easiest, smallest fix. Is this guy the asshole for the amount of syrup that he uses? No. And that's crazy that he even thought that in the first place, or she made him feel that way. Oh my gosh. Okay. Next. Really quickly, side tangent. I cannot get the temperature in this room correctly because this gets the coldest. Like when we turn down the AC, it's freezing. And like last week when I filmed the pod, I literally made myself sick. Like literally, I was so not okay. And now I'm sweating my tits off. Anywho, let's keep going. I, 42 male, am no longer attracted to my wife, 39 female, after a lot of cosmetic surgery. How do I move forward? I thought this would be so interesting to talk about because I never thought about something like this. And in this modern day society, like modern medicine, there are a lot of cosmetic surgeries that can be done. And I mean, hello. I think it's kind of like tattoos, which obviously some people just get like one tattoo or like small tattoos, but it's also like drugs where I think once you do it once, it just goes up and up and up. Like Botox is kind of like, they say, weed is the gateway drug or whatever is the gateway drug. I feel like Botox is like the gateway cosmetic surgery because like you just get more comfortable. It's like anything, like you do it one time and then it's like, oh, that wasn't so bad. It's like nothing. And then like, I think it's something you can easily get carried away with, but I never thought about like a man's perspective because quite frankly, I'm never thinking about a man's perspective. We've been together 20 years and have a great life together. To me, she has always been the most beautiful woman in the world. I've never so much as looked at another woman, and there wasn't a thing I would change about her. About 5 years ago, she started having Botox, and although, I'm sorry, wait, he says having Botox? Like this man doesn't know the first thing. I'm going to say getting Botox, and although I didn't think she needed it, it's her body, her choice. Yes, sir, it is. I noticed pretty soon after that her smile changed. Her whole face didn't light up like it did before, and it made her smile look fake and forced, but I didn't say anything as she seemed happier. This is going to be like really controversial because I can already see, like, just from the title alone, I think a lot of people would be like, oh, he needs to mind his business. Like if she wants to do that, let her do that. But I think it's completely fair for him to have opinions on it. Just like we have opinions on anybody doing cosmetic surgery, right? Like this is his wife, and not that he should control her or anything like that. But like obviously men, they do get Botox and stuff. Like that's a real thing, but like they don't typically do like big cosmetic surgeries. Like if my husband all of a sudden started getting cosmetic procedures and didn't look like him, and like, again, it's hard to say how you would feel because you don't know, but like it is a major difference. Like I see people that have gotten work done, or the most recent is like Ozempic. I know so many people who are on Ozempic, which to each their own. I don't care what the fuck you do. But there is this like really gaunt look about them. Like I can tell it immediately, and maybe it's extreme weight loss, but like the ones I'm talking about, I know for a fact are on it, and it's fine. It's whatever. Like if they've lost weight and they feel good, and like these people aren't like real characters in my life, but cosmetic surgery and Ozempic and these things like really change how you look, obviously, which like when you marry somebody, you should love them regardlessly, is that a word? And like be there and whatever. But like, I could understand having an opinion on it or like not recognizing who you're with. Actually, one of my very best friends' mom does Botox, gets Botox. She's like probably almost 50 now or in her 50s. And I was speaking to her once, and I will not forget this because they have these family photos and she hates them, and they're gorgina. They're like the prettiest family photos you've ever seen. And she's like, I cannot stand these. And she's like, all I can think about is how I got Botox before. She's like, my smile isn't the same. She's like, I couldn't smile because like my forehead wouldn't move, nothing would move. And she hates that. I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. I wouldn't pick up on that, but like, obviously she noticed about that herself. Or like how this guy is saying her smile looks different. Like that's exactly what this woman told me about herself. I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. Yeah, it makes sense, obviously. Anyways, okay, let's keep going. Then she asked me what I thought of lip fillers. I told her I didn't like them, and her lips were perfect to me. She had them done anyway, and I'll be honest, it was like I was kissing another woman. Oh, wait, he said, oh my gosh, I jumped down to the next one. I'll be honest, I never liked them, and it felt horrible when we kissed, like I was kissing another woman. Then it was cheek fillers. Then she had a nose job, despite me begging her not to. I know it's wrong, as it's her body, but I wasn't looking at my wife anymore. Then she did something with her eyes, which made her look like a cat. Her most recent one is comically big boobs. She went from being a perfect B cup to an F. In this time, she's also gone from 10.5 stone, 147 pounds, oh, they're from somewhere else, down to 8 stone, 112 pounds. Holy, that's like significant. Plus, the amount of makeup she wears now is completely different to what it is 5 years ago. See, here's the thing. And again, like, I know people would say that like this guy isn't supportive and he's just being a hater and he should let her do, but like, it would also, like, here's the other flip of the coin. When a man wants his girl to like get huge boobs, like if this man, I feel like it's coming from like a wholesome place. I don't know, judge me, but I feel like this is like the better way to be. Like if you're with a man who like wants you to get big fake tits and like, and not to say like there's a way to support somebody. I don't know. Yeah, I'm having like mixed feelings. I kind of feel bad for, I mean, it sounds like his wife is like going through a complete, like a nose job, something with her eyes, cheek filler, lip filler, which again, I think these things kind of happen. And I think depending on where you go to a surgeon or whatever, they like recommend things. And like, maybe she's feeling insecure. Obviously, as a woman, once you get older, he said he's 42. I'm going to guess she's about the same. Like naturally we age. And as women, we feel like we can age because like it's all about our youth. And therefore, I'm not going to blame her for like getting these things done at all. Like I get that, but it's also like, I feel things are happening, right? Like clearly she's going through something kind of, or she's just like, she got one thing done and then it just becomes easier and easier. Oh, this is a bad deal. I feel awful saying it, but she's not who I got with. I feel like a hypocrite too, because I know I've changed. My hair isn't what it once was. And I obviously look older than when we got together. Yeah, but like aging is like natural and normal. I mean, that's like, I don't know. It is different. I'm not going to say that it's not. I don't know where the need to change came from. She was doing really well in her job. Things are great between us. She used to have a lot of followers on social media, and just a simple selfie would get her over 1,000 likes, which isn't something she ever craved. And she's always been a bit embarrassed by it, but now her followers have dropped and her last selfie barely got any likes. She's suddenly upset over that. Oh, okay, well, that's interesting. I mean, that could be part, like there's obviously, I think there's naturally when anybody makes a decision to do anything, there's more than like one reason as to why you're doing it. Okay, let me keep going. I've tried asking her why she has felt the need for all of this, and she'll just say she wasn't happy with how she looked, and in her head, she genuinely thinks she looks better now. I've tried to gently suggest therapy, but that didn't go down too well. She started asking now why I don't want to have sex as much anymore, and I'm trying to make excuses like I'm tired or just getting older and not in the mood as much. She spoke to me yesterday and said if something doesn't change in the next month, she wants to open the relationship as she's gone from sex nearly every day to once a month at most. I actually felt a wave of relief when she said that, which is terrible. I know. Oh God, there's a lot of things going on here. There's a lot. I wonder, he's not saying it, but like, is he not wanting to have sex with her because he feels like it's not his wife? Which like, I'm not going to say it is a little dramatic, but like, who knows how he feels? Oh, I feel like you both need therapy. I love who she is still, but also I didn't even touch on to open the relationship. I feel like she's very clearly going through something. But like, I get that on the same end. Like, yeah, they're not having sex as much and she has a high sex drive. Like that needs to happen. But like to say it needs to change in a month, I feel like that's a little bit crazy. That's like an ultimatum. They've been married for 20 years. Okay. Anywho. I love who she is still, and if it was the choice between staying with her and never having sex again or losing her and having sex constantly again, I'd rather stay with her as my life would be empty without her as a person in it. But what about being attracted to her? Is it something I can train myself to do? Do I just give in and try and force sex with her? Oh my gosh, long story short, how do I handle this? Oh, he's like really not attracted to her anymore. She like is not the same person. Oh, that's like actually like a lot deeper than a man just saying like, I don't like all the work you've had done. Therapy. I feel like everybody needs therapy. I feel like she's like kind of going through something potentially. The fact that she like threatened an open relationship. What did he say here at the end? If it was choosing between staying with her and never having sex again or losing her and having sex constantly again, like it's literally, he's saying that it's like her change in appearance that's like making it that way. Ooh, that's rough. That's like really, really rough and really sad. Because like obviously most of these things aren't reversible. You're not going to reverse like a nose job, or you can reverse your tits, but like who wants to go under the knife that often? Unfortunately, I think therapy and then you go from there. I don't know. Is she like, I know a lot of people probably, again, their initial reaction would be like, he's being too harsh, but it's like his feelings are his feelings. Like, I'm not going to blame him when his like wife changed her appearance like drastically overnight. Oh, God. Yeah, I don't know what the right thing to do is there. We're just going to skip right past that. Next. My fiance edits me out of our vacay photos. What do? You break up with him. Your fiance edits you out of your vacay photos. I'm so sorry. I like don't even need to read anything. That's insane. That's literally insane. Oh my gosh. I, 29 female, have been with my fiance, 31 male, for 4 years. We love traveling, taking photos, making memories, and recently we went on a week-long trip to the mountains with some friends. When we got back, I started going through our photos. I noticed something weird. In a bunch of the group shots, I wasn't there, but I know I was. Oh, hold the fuck up. Wait, I thought like this was going to be he's posting on Instagram but editing you out. You're looking back at the photos that you took on your vacation and you're not in them? Like in the photos period? Like the photos that you have from the vacation that y'all took as a group, you're not in them? Wait, I'm sorry, what? I asked him about it. He admitted that when he saw a picture, he didn't like how I looked. Bad hair, tired face, etc. He used his phone's editor to crop me out or replace me with a view of the background. Holy fuck. Wait, what? This is like 100 times worse than I thought it was going to be. He straight up told you that you looked bad in some of the photos and he took that upon himself. He said that in the first place. He said that you look bad in photos. First, and honestly, my biggest gripe, that's a fucking wild thing to say to your fiance. I would never in a million years tell my husband that he looks bad in a photo. Number one, because he never looks bad. But number two, like, that's insane. Unless it was like agreed upon, like something was clearly wrong in the photo, or like he wasn't smiling yet, or like it was something that was talked about. But I also would never say you look bad. That's crazy. But then he cropped you out. Like that's something you let somebody else decide. And also at this grown age, like for example, and I know this is like very not typical, especially being an influencer content creator, when people take photos of me, like I don't even look. Like especially it's funny at these like influencer events, like we'll take group photos and stuff, like every girl wants to see the photo. I don't even look at it. I don't give a singular shit if I don't look my best. Like I don't care. I'm too old to be caring how I look in a photo. Okay, and I get that's not a normal reaction, but it's like we are grown. Like you have these trips and these memories with your friends. Like if I look bad in a photo, whatever, like we were on a hike. I'm sorry. And it's your fiance doing that? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. You have to end the relationship. I don't know what you call this. I've never heard of something like this, but clearly something's not right. He said he did it so the trip looked cleaner, so the pics would look nice on social media without me standing there off balance, etc. I told him that hurt me, that I want authentic memories even if I'm not glam in all of them. He said I'm too sensitive and that photos are just illusions anyway? If they're just illusions, then why would you crop her out? Oh my God, this is like insane. This is like actually insane. Like those are your memories. Now I don't know if I trust memories with him. Is it weird to feel like I've been erased? That is crazy. That is like to make the trips look cleaner. I'm not going to jump to he's cheating, but like something's like very not right here. He's either cheating and has a girl who's potentially going through his phone and he's cropping you out right there for, or that way she doesn't see them. Like naturally, like this isn't a normal thing to do. What do you mean to make them cleaner? You crop me out, nobody else, nothing else. That's like such odd behavior. And even if it was just the bare bones that, like this girl's gonna have to feel like she needs to be glam and posed in every photo. Like that is like the weirdest, most bizarre, most least, I just said most, but like least wholesome thing ever. Like if you love your, what a fucking, I like cannot even understand this. What an odd thing. If my husband and I went on a vacation, like he's cropping me out of the photos. Like, what do you mean? Those are our photos. That was our trip. Yeah, something weird is going on. Something very, very weird is going on. And I think you need to break up with him. I don't even know. Like, you're never going to have photos together. Like he's just going to decide when you're in the photos, when you're not. No. And also the social media. I thought this was going to be like he's cropping you out of his social media, which is also an immediate red flag. Like that's not okay. Right? But this is like far worse. Oof, duh. Oi, 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 oi. That's so bad. Okay. Next. This is the last one. And this is the one I was talking about when there's an update. Girlfriend and I, 26, male and female, got into a huge fight over a keyboard, thinking about ending things based on her behavior. So my girlfriend and I, both 26, got in a fight about this 2 nights ago, and she's making it seem like I'm being an asshole. We've been dating for 4.5 months. Okay, so like a newish relationship. My girlfriend has a 2013 Lenovo laptop that has seen better days. As it stands right now, among some other issues, her keyboard totally doesn't work. Because of this, she always uses a small Bluetooth keyboard with her laptop. She had texted me the next morning saying that her wireless keyboard had stopped working as well. We had already planned for me to stay the night at her place after I got off work, so I offered to stop by my place on the way to grab her a keyboard as I have a few extras. The thing is, I have a really nice keyboard at my desk. I'm a programmer and I love this keyboard so much that I also bring it to work with me. I even have specific macro profiles for it that definitely improve my workflow. For context, I had an extra Amazon Basics keyboard, roughly $15, lying around, still brand new in the box. My personal keyboard, which I've had for years, is some variant of the Razer Black Widow, roughly $120. Anyway, she was apparently expecting me to be selfless and let her use my nice keyboard while I used the Amazon keyboard. She was upset that I didn't value her enough to lend her my nice possessions and left her with the cheap $10 keyboard. Her words exactly. She said if the situation was reversed, she'd lend me the nice keyboard. I explained to her that I have my keyboard specifically set up for work, and because I'm so used to it, it would hinder my ability to do work if I didn't have it. That makes perfect sense. This girlfriend is being insane. I'm sorry, I haven't stopped to take a breath. That's insane. And you're going to equate that to how he values you? That's his work laptop computer. My husband is the same way. He has 2 very nice keyboards, and he's no keyboard wizard, but he just likes a certain feel. I wouldn't even want to use them. I wouldn't be used to them. I would be give me whatever. I don't give a shit. That's crazy. And especially it's bold coming from the girl who has like a cheap laptop from 2013, which is like fine if it works. And then also her keyboard broke. Like, I don't know. That's weird. We continued to argue about it. Things really came to a head when she boldly claimed that if I wasn't willing to lend her my nice keyboard, that I should have bought her a nice new keyboard if I really cared about her. Oh, this is like just a relationship thing. This is like expecting flowers. Like there are things that sometimes need to be spoken, like some men just don't know, and it's like clearly she values maybe like a gift, like that's her love language, even though I know love languages aren't really real, but like that's what's happening here, I feel. This is when I got really mad. I told her she was acting like an entitled, spoiled child and that she should have been grateful that I went out of my way in the first place to grab her the Amazon keyboard. She started crying and asked me to go home. I left, but I still gave her the Amazon keyboard to use. I was far more upset at the principle of the situation than the keyboard itself. Of course. Yeah, she is kind of being like super ungrateful. Like just say thank you. She had like some weird expectation or idea in her head. Like she anticipated or clearly wanted you to like get her a keyboard or like bring the nice keyboard, and then when that didn't happen, like that crushed, and it was like something you didn't even know existed or that she had that expectation in the first place, when like what you were doing was kind anyway. Like she needed a keyboard and you gave her one. Yeah, it's not $100 keyboard. I don't know who expects that. Oh, and they've been dating 4.5 months. I feel like this is not good. So now she's calling me an asshole for both not giving her my keyboard and because I called her spoiled. We're going to meet up tomorrow to talk about this in person because I refuse to continue this silly argument over text. I'm thinking about ending things with her as I feel like this is her showing me her true colors. I mean, I don't think that's unfair of him. Really. I mean, when you've only been dating somebody for 4.5 years, it seems small, but it's like bigger. It's like the principle. It's like, this is how she reacts when I like do something for her. Like, is she always going to expect things? Like, he just needs probably a more plain and simple gal. It's not wrong of her, I suppose. Like, I do think she technically in this scenario is in the wrong, but it's also like, yeah, you got to look at the bigger picture. And again, typically when somebody chooses to break up with somebody, there's like other things going on, right? You know, he's like, it makes you see the other things. Like when somebody has a moment or when something gets nasty, this is with anybody, you look back on other things and you're like, you start to just evaluate things and you're like, oh, actually, I don't like this, or I didn't like that this happened. I feel like that's fair. Let's keep going. This is the one with the update where like she saw it. She texted me asking to meet up tonight instead of tomorrow as she is feeling anxious and stressed about the situation. I will give everyone an update later tonight or tomorrow. I also wanted to clarify, she's never acted like this before, although admittedly we haven't been together for very long. Some of you suggested that maybe I'm not making her feel valued and this situation is a symptom of that. While I think both show and tell her that she's valued in different ways, this may be something I bring up with her, of course, doesn't forgive her behavior, but may explain some things. Oh, of course. I feel like naturally, and like this is not going to be very girl of me, but I feel like people always lend to the girl. Like, oh, well, she must not be getting what she wants, which may be true. But again, this is just like a different compatibility of love. It's like the love languages. It's like that can be true, but it's like they just must not be aligning, right? Like what she values, like she valued the expensive keyboard. He's like, well, I gave you a keyboard and that was kind of me to do. It's like when you're just not seeing eye to eye, right? Or you just like don't value things the same, which is like what love is in a relationship. Like you need to find the compatible partner, right? Anywho, of course, some small things can be worked through, but like, I think it could go both ways. We met earlier tonight and sat down to talk. I was somewhat prepared to end things with her, so I suggested we meet at her place so that I could bail if things went south. And they did. Even though I thought I made my post as anonymous as possible, one of my girlfriend's coworkers figured out who the post was about, same computer problems, dating a programmer, etc., and sent it to my girlfriend. The reason she wanted to meet early was because she was furious that I had made the post airing out our dirty laundry. In a sense, I guess she was right because at least one person had figured it out. My girlfriend never used Reddit, so I figured I was safe. But also, there's a strong chance she'll read this one as well. I'm dead. Anyway, she immediately began berating me, telling me that I made her look bad in the post and lied about the details of our argument to get people on my side. I asked her to point out any part of it that wasn't true or where I had lied. Long story short, she couldn't point to a single thing. I definitely raised my voice when I told her that if she looked bad, it's only because of her actions. Yeah, he's not wrong. I told her I only made the post to get some perspective on the matter. The post was 100% accurate and she knew it. She began to tear up and asked me if I was really considering leaving her over the keyboard. I asked her if she understood that this wasn't about the keyboard. It was about the way she acted towards me when I was trying to do her a favor. She stayed silent and didn't answer. I asked her what had prompted this outburst, if everything was okay with her. I asked if anything had happened with her friends, parents, or at work that was upsetting her and may have led to this. She got really defensive, asking, "Are you calling me crazy? And do you think I'm unstable?" I had no idea where she was going with this. I told her I wasn't calling her crazy, but that she had to understand that I was quite confused about how she was acting and that there had to be a reason for it. This is just men, unfortunately. I understand what he's saying and I get why she took that defensively. Well, and also she's feeling like she saw this post. People probably in the post were being like, she's insane, probably saying that. I don't think people realize online like how big things can feel and like how it can affect a person. Unfortunately, I've experienced with this, not me personally, but other people feeling a way about what I post online. So like I have perspective on it, but I don't think he was trying to like be mean. I think he's just like, yeah, are you good? Because the way that you reacted to me bringing you a keyboard and not bringing my nice one was crazy. Not that he even said that, but it's like, I get what he's saying. We talked in circles for a bit and I tried to pry it out of her. I still don't know what caused all of this because she simply wouldn't tell me. When I realized our conversation was going nowhere, I finally asked her if we were going to have an adult conversation or if this was the hill she was willing to let the relationship die on. She asked, "What do you want from me?" And I said, "I want an apology." Oh, I don't think he's in the wrong. Unfortunately, I hate to not side with the girl, but like, I get where he's coming from. I'm getting tired of typing, so I'll wrap this up quickly. She was absolutely unwilling to apologize. She thought that my betrayal of posting about this was far worse than her initial behavior was. We talked for about 5 more minutes before I told her that I don't even care anymore. I told her this whole thing was exhausting as she wasn't willing to help us get to the bottom of this, that we should just break up. I didn't waste any time making my way to the door. As I was leaving, she asked if I wanted the keyboard back. She didn't ask to be nice. She was definitely trying to get on my nerves. I could tell by her tone of voice. I told her she could keep it as long as she promised never to call or text me again. Oh my God. I've been getting tons of not so nice messages from her friends, which finally prompted me to delete my Facebook. She obviously told her friends some false version of the story, which made it seem like I really did leave her over the keyboard. I couldn't care less, as I'll never be seeing any of them again. We only dated for 4.5 months, so in the end, I don't feel terribly heartbroken, mostly just relief that it's over, but also confusion. I still have no idea why she acted out. Well, I think he might be reading into that too much, unless she did act crazy. Like, it wasn't that insane, but like, yeah, it was like, why didn't you just say thank you? Obviously, when like things like this happen, it's like clearly these people just like don't belong together. The fact that she couldn't apologize, and like that's the other thing. It's good to have arguments in a relationship or differences, because you see how they react and how they act, and if they can apologize and if they can own up and take accountability. And he obviously didn't see things that he liked. She literally couldn't apologize, and that's just that. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna wrap this up here. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you on Friday. Okay, bye guys.